there's been some sort of criticism of the Australian team here in India because the Indians absolutely love the Aussies, especially the kind of teams that we saw under you. Well, Anil Border would be here, when Ricky Ponting would be here, Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath. One thing that you always expected from the Australian team, whether win or lose, you knew that they're going to fight till that last ball is bowled. One criticism that is coming this Australian team's way is that they're not as hard-nosed as the previous Australian teams. Do you think that's a fair assessment of the current bunch of Aussies?
I think that's maybe a little harsh. I think they're all hurt when they don't perform well. They had high hopes when they landed in India that they'd give it a really good shake. We thought that we had enough spinners, enough good fast bowling, and of course a good batting lineup to really give you guys a good run for your money. But yeah, look, they seem to get spooked by the pitches. That was just some of the media that we got back here in Australia that they were looking for gremlins under the covers, that type of thing, leading in that first test. And I thought to myself, well, it's going to be a turning pitch. I mean, you don't even have to go and have a look at the pitch, really. It's going to be a turner. That's just the way it is. So I don't know why they were so surprised. So, yeah, look, some of the cricket we played I thought was a bit timid, a bit naive. We didn't seem to have a particular game plan other than sweeping the ball, reverse sweep, normal sweep shot. Great shots in the 2020 cricket, but I'm not so sure that it's the right way to go about it in Test match cricket, unless the pitches are very, very good, of course. But the pitches they played on offered the bowlers a lot of help, and they just didn't trust their defence. That's what it seemed like from back here. They just didn't know how to cope with the ball turning, and they just lost their way. They're a better team, as they showed in the third test, than they showed in the first two test matches. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this next test match and what sort of pitch has been prepared for it.
All right, we're all looking forward to that test match. But this particular broadcast is all about the India-Australia relations. And Allan, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. You've toured India many a times. I'm going to talk about some of the memories. But let's start with that 1987 World Cup win. I remember Eden Gardens. You were playing against England, and I think 100,000 people would have turned up, and out of all of those people that had turned up, to your surprise, I think they were all supporting the Australian team. Then you did a lap of honour. I remember those visuals on television. Did your view of Indians and Indian cricket fans change after that sort of reception that you got, winning the World Cup here on Indian soil?
Yeah. I mean, that was the start of Australia starting to work the way back into, better cricket performances. Up until then, we'd been pretty dry cupboards as far as trophies and things were concerned. We'd struggled for 2 or 3 years there, and it was a little bit against the odds. I mean, there were probably better teams than us actually at that World Cup. The West Indies, England themselves, India, Pakistan. They were tremendous sides, but we were very well drilled, if you like, with our coach Bob Simpson. We really worked hard on those little 1%ers that you can sort of make a difference in games. Just very good fielding. We had a bit of a game plan that we stuck to pretty rigidly, and it sort of worked for us. I mean, we got lucky along the way with a couple of the results, but that you do need a little bit of luck to go right through a World Cup. So, yeah, back in 1987, that was absolutely fantastic. The England boys came into our rooms. I mean, there was no sad faces kicking cans around the place. They came in and celebrated, that we'd won, but they had had a good tournament themselves. So, from that point of view, that's good to see that camaraderie that's still alive and kicking between combatants. Out in the field, go hard. Off the field, take it easy and enjoy each other's company.
Talking about old memories, we talk about and why India versus Australia has now suddenly emerged as the #1 battle in cricket is because, you have these two tough teams going up against each other. Allan, would you say this sort of rivalry, I know there were many a contest before that, we're celebrating 75 years of India-Australia cricketing relations, but that 1986 tight test match in Chennai, do you think that was the catalyst in terms of turning the India-Australia series as it is right now?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that was a start. Dean Jones making a double 100, David Byrne, scoring heavily on day one. I mean, we were very fortunate. We won the toss in that first game, and as everyone knows, the Chennai pitch back in those days was a bit of a batsman's paradise. But I still talk to friends about that particular game. We made 574, I think, for about 7 declared, and should have lost the game. So you can have pitches that are batsman friendly to start with, and the game just quickens up as you start getting into days 4 and 5. So it was a fantastic game of cricket. I've asked Ravi a few times why he took a single on the third last ball, but he was sort of adamant that he wanted to tie the game up, and then he was quite confident that Maninder Singh at the other end would get a single somewhere, but wasn't to be. And absolutely fantastic result, just a result, because we'd declared twice, and good on India because they kept chasing the score. I think they had to get 348 or 350, somewhere around there, on the last day. So, fantastic from Ravi. Every time we'd sort of start attacking, he'd keep whacking them over the top, and so it was an in-out sort of scenario that last afternoon. It was, it was just the most fantastic, result you can think of. And then just the heroics from, Jones and Boone, and Kapil Dev himself made a great 100 in that game. It was just a fantastic game of cricket, and gee, you get some tight results, but it doesn't get any tighter than that. And I think the relationships from that particular game, that they were bred, and then of course our own cricket, we started to get a bit more confidence about, the group of players we had in the team, and everyone started to, get better and better over the next 12, 18 months. And it was I suppose we'd been 2 or 3 years in the doldrums, so it was time to get out of that and get on and start winning a few games.